I'm Carly, a partner with the Legal Tech Fund. We are here for TLTF's Summit sessions, talking to our advisory board members about what they're looking forward to this year and into the future, and then also about the summit. Today, I am happy to be joined by Kristen Baylis from Orrick. Thank you so much for joining me, and thank you for being on the advisory board.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so nice to be here, and thanks for having me, Carly.
So, can you give us your quick background and how you ended up in this world of legal tech?
Yeah, so quick background. So today I'm Senior Technology Counsel at Orrick. I joined in January of 2026. And in that role, I wear a variety of hats. Some of those hats include AI risk management, AI change management and adoption and training, and then also working on some of the enterprise AI, bringing the voice of the lawyer to the enterprise AI strategy and pilots, exploration. So those are a few of the things that I'm doing at work today. Former life, I was an employment law litigator. I did a lot of workplace advice and counsel. And then I also worked at an employment firm as their chief innovation officer, helping navigate a lot of these same issues.
So from your seat today, what is the top trend that you're focused on this year? What's top of mind for you right now?
Yeah, so I think there's so many. Every week in this landscape is basically, I feel like, a month of developments. And so
couldn't agree more.
To boil it down to one trend is so hard. I think I could maybe boil it down to two trends that are most top of mind today. And again, that could change in a week from now. But one is just the move to more agentic AI. And I think, when we were exploring this technology, even back in 2022, a lot of training and experiments were around chat-based interfaces with large language models. So seeing it kind of move now to where the world of agentic AI and the possibilities, I think that's super interesting. But what goes along with that is the cost, just the demand for compute for those agentic workflows is just so much more. So I think it's interesting to also see some of the changes in the move to consumption-based pricing and token-based pricing. That's a recent trend that I'm also monitoring. And in some respects, those vendors have to. I mean, I think when an agent can use 100 times more tokens than a person can use in a chat interface, I can totally see why some vendors are choosing to go that way. But what's interesting is for those of us on the law firm side and lawyers and those navigating the change management and training aspects, how do you train people, use this, but also don't use it too much, or watch your usage or watch your token consumption. So I think that change and how we're going to navigate that, those are some trends that are top of mind for me today.
And is that happening real time where you're having to train lawyers on how to think about usage-based consumption?
So luckily, I think, we have a little bit of a runway in our strategy, and I think that's great. But no, it is as we're evaluating new tools and as new things are coming out that are more token or consumption based, it's definitely part of the exploration. Like, how are we going to maybe change our approach to a rollout or a pilot or training under different models?
Yeah, I think that's going to be really, really interesting to see. The adoption's been incredible, but you don't want to lose that momentum by telling people
100%.
They have to hold back and only use it for the hardest problems.
Yeah, and I think that was one example of how fast the landscape can change. I think it was just not that many months ago that companies had, token maxing leaderboards, and the shift happened pretty quick.
Yeah. And then when you think 10, 15 years out into the future, what's your biggest, boldest prediction about what the landscape could look like?
So I think mine is less of a prediction and more of just a question in how are we going to formalize how humans and AI work together? And what decisions will we make in that? I think it's a choice. And I think we need to really be talking about this, not just in terms of where's the technology today or maybe next year, but as AI becomes more sophisticated and can do more and more and more, what things are we going to decide, as a society? So even just outside of legal, what are the values and traits and skills that are uniquely human? And how are we going to preserve those? How are we going to train on those? How are we going to build AI systems that make sure that we maintain those? So that's the long-term question. that I'm excited to explore every day, but also at the TLTF Summit.
That is a great segue into the TLTF Summit. That is definitely one of the questions that we will explore at the summit. The Pathways Project, that was where we were thinking about the future of law. That was one of the questions that came up is, are we going to let algorithms decide? Are we going to let humans decide? And is that for judges? Is that for arbitration? Where does that show up? So we are looking forward to discussing that. What else are you looking forward to for the TLTF Summit, and what recommendations do you have for folks attending for the first time?
So I'm looking forward to so much. I mean, I think that last comment touches on one thing that I'm looking forward to the most. The content, the breadth and the scope of what's covered is just so unique. So not only are there practical sessions and technical sessions and sessions that address the here and now, but I love that the space is created for the philosophical conversations, the psychological conversations, behavioral. I just think that that's a really unique space to be able to have both of those in one summit. And so I'm very, very excited for that. I also just love the time for connection. And I think the TLTF Summit is just incredible in how they create a schedule and a space to really curate time for real, it's not just networking, it's real relationship building. And I look forward to that every single year. Tips. I have a couple tips. Number one's tip, it's like I'm going to tell you one thing and then tell you the opposite. The first thing is reach out to people you want to connect with before, like LinkedIn, message them, text them. I think when you're there, sometimes having that person's contact so you can grab coffee in the moment is really, really helpful. But at the same point, don't overschedule yourself so much that you don't have time for spontaneity. Because what I have found, it was the total spontaneous person I met in the hall, someone I talked to before a session started. Those that I look back the past several years, those were the most like special moments and long-lasting relationships. So plan ahead, but don't feel like you have to schedule every moment of your time. And that leads me to my second tip, which is really try to clear your schedule. I go to legal tech conferences. I know how it is when you have to balance your normal daily workload and maybe you try to keep some calls on your calendar. I would say for this event in particular, really try to clear your schedule so that you can be present in the moment and taking advantage of just the incredible people that are there in person. So that's just a be present reminder, and try to create your calendar to have space to do that. And then last, I would say engage in the session. Like, I know there's big conferences where you go and the panel really is the only one talking and maybe there's just a little time for Q&A. But what I love about the TLTF Summit, the bigger sessions, the breakouts, the hot topic roundtable discussions, I think what's so unique is how engaged the audience is. I learned just as much from the audience questions many times that I do from the panelists themselves. So just engage and be a part of every session. I think you're on mute, Carly, but I couldn't hear your last question.
I was complimenting your tips. I like them a lot. Well, I know a lot will change between now and then. So thank you for being a part of the advisory board and keeping track of everything that's happening in the space, and look forward to seeing you in November.
Absolutely. Can't wait to see you and can't wait to see everyone at the summit.
Thanks.
Thank you.